Hello, beautiful souls. This is Michelle with Upgrade in Progress. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. I had a desire. If you hear noise, it's my dog chewing on a bone. I had a desire to share some information today, and it's just my perspective. One of the things I realized, I'm going to turn this. One of the things I realized during this is that there are a lot of perspectives out there right now. I mean, just whatever's going on, everybody's kind of got an opinion and everybody's got a belief, and a lot of it is fear-based. And so I guess what I wanted to do is just sort of start sharing some information from my perspective to do what I can, because the truth is I am over here alone. I'm isolated like a large percentage of the population who doesn't have family living with me. So my quarantine is very isolated and alone. But the truth is I actually started my own kind of isolation process a while back. And I think, or what I know, is that many of us were kind of being prepared, when this started happening to me on an individual level a couple 2 to 3 years back. There was a side of me that felt like this was just happening to me, but there was also a side of me that knew that that what I was going through, what I was experiencing, was going to eventually happen for everybody. Now, I never predicted that it was going to happen in this manner, but there was an intuition that this process that is happening, and I'm not necessarily talking about the virus, I'm sort of talking about the raising of vibration, the ascension process, and how the virus plays a part in that, and how this quarantine plays a part in that, and my perspective of what is coming and what we can do and how we can kind of navigate these new waters. Because no matter what, there is a very big reality that's birthing right now, and that is that we are living in unprecedented times. These are changing times, and the reality is whether we embrace it now or we embrace it later, life is never going to be the same. We are now on a very different trajectory, and many of us who, in the spiritual community are referred to, or have referred to ourselves, and others refer to us as light workers and starseeds and way showers, because of the fact that we have already dove into ourselves, our hearts. We have already kind of purged and cleared and purified all of the old programming that was in here, and being piped in. And like my example is I did isolate. I pulled myself sort of out of life, out of the mainstream, to get a very different perspective. And as a result of that, as a result of turning in, tapped into and cleared the chakra channels, and realized the connection that we all have to source. And it's not just hokey, it's not just wonky, it's not what I thought, because I've experienced it. And so much of that, if you know anything about me or anything about my channels, I am constantly talking about love and light, because I feel unconditional love. Not only do I receive it from source when I go into meditation, but I've also embodied it to where that's all I am. That's all I give out now. I don't judge. I don't care to. I don't anything. I just lovingly accept everybody, which I have to kind of protect myself and make sure that people don't latch on to that energetically. But it was almost in lack of a, a far deeper explanation. It's kind of like a purification process that we went through. It many times in my meditations, it felt like I was clearing karma. It felt like things that were very buried deep inside me have come up. I was able to feel it, heal it, and then release it. And I've been doing this on a very regular and consistent basis over the last couple years. And I, recorded sessions where I call them smoga sessions, or I call them healing sessions. I've even recorded myself just meditating, because at some point during the meditation, it's obvious that something's happening inside, because I'll start to cry, or I'll start to laugh, or there will be an emotional expression. So inside, what's happening is everything's clear and it's coming up for review. And then I purge it out of my vessel, out of my system, out of my energy. And then many times, then what happens is the light from sun, from source, then brings in, the information, the codes, the activations, whatever you call it. There is an increasing relationship, cooperation, understanding, dynamic communication that is taking place within us. There's a recognition that our brains are, we're basically transmitters. We're being piped in through the waves, the radio waves and the frequencies, and they all have an effect on us. So whether we admit it or not, they are affecting us. And so many are saying that 5G rolling out is behind this and affecting this. And I don't want to necessarily speak to that, because I don't feel like I have the research yet to be able to articulate that in a way that in any way says that I'm, an expert in that field, because I'm not. The only thing that I'm sharing is what I have experienced through my own existence, through my own meditations, through my own contemplations, through my own purging of old limitations and old beliefs, to be able to see things from a clearer, unobstructed, perspective and point of view. So I guess in this time, what I'm saying is that, everything that we've been talking about, everything that the light workers have been talking about, we are still on the trajectory of needing to raise our vibrations, because fear is a vibration, and fear is what keeps us stuck in these lower looping over and over what ifs. So it's not until we clear that, meaning, a lot of experts say it different ways, but I'm going to say just fucking lean into it. You got to lean into it and just feel that fear. And that's not an easy thing. This is, rising above this takes some courage. And I know that we all can do it, because if I can do it, literally, I'm that person that could say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because what's going to kill us is the fear, the reaction to what's going on. That will, or has the ability and capability to then allow in and magnetize the virus, if it will, or anything else. Fear is an energy, and energy, magnetizes it to you. So I would really encourage people to just change what they're watching and what they're listening to, especially during this time. Watch some videos, especially on astrology, because the astrologers are the ones who have been talking about this and predicting this for actually many years, and they're right on. I mean, there is something to be said. It is not a wonky science. It is not hokey. It is very much right on, because they can pinpoint times when planets and stars, were doing the same thing that they're doing now historically, and be able to recognize or even, predict how things are going. Now, there's always free will, so things can vary a little bit, but the overall energy from planets and stars are like I said, they've kind of predicted it. So that's one of the things that I started watching, is, some good astrologers, some tarot readings. I don't believe it all, I don't buy it all, but I listen to what resonates. And if it resonates, it means that I've had an experience, whether it be in meditation state or dream state or even waking state, when somebody says something, it's like, oh, that makes sense. That feels good to me. That's called resonance. And again, many say that that's kind of the new currency. We're sort of moving into this place of resonance. And I don't necessarily mean currency as in that's how we're going to exchange goods, but currency as far as how we show up, how we interact with each other. It's not going to be so much from what we know up here, because the reality is what we know up here is different for everybody. What we know in here has a similar thread, and that is the energy of when you have an open heart and energy is flowing, what resonates is that sort of purity. So these are kind of new skills and new senses that are coming online. And when I say coming online, I mean we're tapping into our divine nature, our psychic abilities, because we are not paying attention to the outside world anymore. So when you stop looking at and paying attention to the TV and what they're showing you, or the music and what you're hearing, and you start again, just kind of taking a step back, getting a different perspective, using your own heart and your own resonance about how that feels and how that's sitting with you, our perspectives start to shift a little bit at a time. And there is no quick fix. I mean, this is that quintessential, you got to go through it. To get out of it. This is what many predicted as sort of the end times, but it's not the end. It is the end of the old, and there's a very big kind of divide that is occurring right now, and there's different language that's used to explain sort of that division, and it is the old ways, and the old ways are kind of likened to what many are calling the 3D matrix or 3D, because the higher frequencies that are coming in are fifth dimensional, and that's just, again, sort of a new consciousness, new ideas, new thoughts, new paradigms, new ways of doing things. That's why it's a higher vibration, a higher perspective than the 3D, which is limited. Think of it in terms of the chakras and all the lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakras, the solar plexus, those lower three kind of survival type chakras that keep us in duality and density and separation and fear. Whereas, we're elevating into kind of the higher chakras of the heart and the throat and the third eye, and we're opening, kind of that saying of as above, so below. Some of these things start to make sense a little bit more, again, when we can view it from a different lens. So those that are staying stuck in fear are kind of wanting things to go back to the way that they were, and the reality is they will never be the way that they were. We are at that precipice, and many have predicted and kind of say this is our choice point. We're either going to go into fear, or we are going to evolve kind of into light. So that dark matter that has kept us down, that has kept us programmed, that has kept us focused on, we just need to work and sleep and eat, and that's your job, basically, and imprisoned, enslaved, if you think about it. Now, I don't want to give any credit, because there's 100 and there's 1,000 and there's an infinite number of perspectives and beliefs and conspiracies about what's going on. But again, this is mine. This is what resonates with me because of what I feel, and because of how my relationship has changed with light, and what light has been doing in my life for the last 2 to 3 years, where before then I didn't pay much attention to it. I was literally that person who blacked out my house and wanted to be in the dark. And when I started waking up, and when I started raising my vibration, I naturally started gravitating outdoors to the light. I started waking up and springing open all the lights, all the windows and all the doors. So it resonated with me. And so, to put it kind of in the simplest terms, there's sort of this battle of light and dark, and the 3D was controlled by kind of the dark. Again, they wanted to keep us suppressed one way or another, whereas 5D is more about unity and coming together and love and acceptance, and that we're all in this. So I guess my point in sharing this is just recognize that now is the time to just settle in and do your own work. The rest, the outside world will work itself out. You're given this time. How many times have we all wanted to just be home? And have better relationships with our family? This is that opportunity. Many times during my awakening in this journey over the past couple years, when I pushed myself to the edge, what I would think about was, what's important in the end. Imagine or envision that you're sort of at that end point of your life, and what's important. Make those relationships important now. Express your love the way that you always wanted to, without fear, without worry about what anybody else is thinking, because that is where we're going. We're moving into authenticity, and to express yourself authentically without fear. See, that was the old program. That's the old ways. We're coming into a place where, in a space where you can be exactly who you're supposed to be, without programming, without limitations, without the, you got to do this or this or this. It's what's in here. Who are you at your core? What were you created to do? Because the reality, and many say that we all, on a spiritual or a soul level, chose to be here at this time, because these are unprecedented times. I never, at 51, I never ever imagined that this would happen in my lifetime. But I very much acknowledge and know what's going on. But the truth is, deep inside me, I'm glad that this is going on, because this is the change. In part of my journey, I got to that point where I didn't want to go on anymore. I couldn't play by those rules anymore. There was something happening inside me where it was like, I just can't. I can't play by those rules anymore. Something's happening. It's just not working anymore. I truly don't fit in that world anymore. And then, lo and behold, as I got sort of to this point of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I just can't be the same person that I was in kind of any way, whether that meant my profession, the things that I was doing. It's all over. It ended in my personal world within this last couple years, and I continue to have to just keep going forward in that faith that I found deep inside. And lo and behold, this feels like the time that I'm supposed to step up, because I've done the work. I've already been through the car wash. In fact, I played in the car wash. I did a deep cleaning. So my vehicle, for the most part, because I think this is always an ongoing process, but I think for the most part, my vehicle's been cleaned and purified, and there's been unconditional love in my heart that I've received, and that I've expressed openly for the last couple years. And so now it seems like the time that we are stepping up to shine that light, to be that light, to, in whatever way that means. It doesn't have to be big, and it doesn't have to be grand, and it doesn't have to be these videos, but maybe I'm doing them because I don't, I want to shine my light. I've got it and I want to share it. So I have faith that this video will reach whoever it needs to reach, and just, you know, knowing that there's many of us out there who are going, this is actually a good thing. You know, don't pay attention to the show, pay attention to the man behind the curtain, and you're the man behind the curtain. So what's going on? What's going on behind the curtain? What are you doing? So now is the time to dive deep into, and don't be scared. Don't be scared of what you're going to find, because I promise you, what you're going to find is more beautiful than you ever imagined. Because I've always felt like maybe there was guardian angels around me. I've said on several occasions I probably should have died in my early 20s with the shit that I was doing. But I sort of always felt this presence. And during this time, during this ascension for me, that presence, those guardian angels became more and more obvious. So what I suspected all of my life has gotten confirmed, especially in the last year. I am definitely, we all are, but I can only speak for me. I am definitely surrounded and guided and loved and supported through this. I knew that a couple years ago. I knew that. I started out by saying something's happening to me, and I quickly changed that language. I don't know why, but I quickly changed that language to something was happening for me. So I intuitively, I think by the help and information that we tap into when we meditate, but in my guides, intuitively knew that it was sort of this preparation period, because it's always been in my heart and my desire to help others. So, you know, many of us were healing the healers. And I don't know how else to say that, but I now feel like a healer. Even just my presence. It doesn't mean that I have to lay hands on. That's not what I'm talking about. I think just what I'm doing, just simply meditating on healing myself and then healing others, is more helpful than I could ever wrap my human mind around. I know that intuitively. So my job might seem like it's not the traditional job, but I know, I just know that, you know, just being in this higher vibration is exactly what my purpose is. And there's more to be revealed. I mean, it's going to get bigger, but my point is I know that I'm right where I need to be, and so are you. So take this time to use it, to embrace that what we're truly doing is we're ascending. We are raising our vibration, and we are becoming the true, beautiful, spiritual light beings that we were always intended to be. Don't focus on the fact that we've been programmed or blah, blah, blah. Keep your eye on the prize and keep moving forward, because the other stuff is meant to grab a hold of you and keep you down. We can't focus on why we're here or how we got here. We have to really focus on where we're going, and you create that. So figure out where you want to go, figure out the kind of world that you want, and start creating it, because we are creating the world that lives inside of us. Conscious co-creating. Look it up, do some research. I encourage you all, because this is it's a new language, it's a new time, but we will prevail. I promise you, we will prevail. If you don't give in to the fear, if you can just quiet and just kind of settle in. And my mantra for so many months and years, I suppose, was surrender, acceptance, faith, and flow. And many times in my meditation, I have to kind of go through that, because I can feel the tension, I can feel the resistance in my body. So I bring, surrender into my mind, and that's it. I just surrender. I literally kind of fall off the planet, fall into the arms, dive off a cliff, whatever the visualization may be. I just kind of go, I can't do it out here, so I give up. Whatever's in store, I give up. Just take me. So surrendering is very different for everybody, but and accepting that, you know, this is what it is. I can only change what I'm doing. Faith that what I've experienced, what I know, that something has been taking care of me, and helping me and guiding me along with the world, and just flow. Just it's carried me. So I believe. I mean, I am that. I hope to be that beacon of light, because I changed my life completely 2 years ago. You know, I retired when I didn't have enough money to retire, because I got done with the 3D matrix and I did not know where I was going to go or how I was going to do it. And so that's where my faith began. That's where my surrendering began, and it's delivered me here. And I am still safe, and I am far greater today than I was then. So it's a journey, and I'm going to be here with you. I'm not giving up. You know, I wanted to a couple years ago, but now I feel like my light is even stronger. So whether this comes across one person or 20 people or maybe even more, know that you're not alone. Know that you are deeply, deeply loved, and know that deep inside you, you are a divine, beautiful being. You just have to journey into yourself to release that beauty, to release that divine being, because they're in there and they've always been in there, and it's you. And believe it or not, the second coming of Christ is you. It's right here. Christ consciousness lives right inside of our heart. And when we all tap into that, we become Christ consciousness. We embody those same beliefs and values that Christ did. It's part of that purification process, but it's what he knew, and it's what we're coming into. So I believe wholeheartedly that we, each and individually, but collectively, become the second coming. So it's a perspective. It's another perspective. If it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, then on to what your journey to find out what does. And I wish you well. So, you know, hit the subscribe button, maybe the like button, and I hope to keep doing this. It's going to be, it's part of my mission. It's part of my purpose now, to be a beacon, to be a lighthouse, to be a way shower, and to plant seeds, because it's a whole new world, and we're traversing it right now. So you're safe, you're loved, and you belong. I love you guys. See you soon.